Hi, everyone. We're excited to have you here. This is a big day for Optimizely. Before I get started, just a little bit of webinar housekeeping. So there's hundreds of you here. Keep it engaging in the chat. Why don't you start by just letting us know where you're from? Secondly, a little bit about the structure of the webinar. I will talk a little bit about the announcement for our SaaS CMS. And cover kind of some of the points that I'm super excited by. And then Naz here is going to be taking you through what it means with a live demo. So before we start, I just want to set the scene. We've been working to solve this problem here at Optimizely literally for decades, right? Our customers, they publish great content, they create beautiful digital experiences, but what I'm excited to talk to you about today is the next phase of this CMS journey at Optimizely. Now, these are not just iterative changes. So like what we are launching here, I believe is truly revolutionary. So our new SaaS CMS, let's talk about it. It's headless by design. It incorporates a new visual builder. It's a beautiful interface that allows marketers to easily create and preview content. So for our CMS, what we really focused on was offering the ultimate flexibility, providing brands with choice, whether it's coupled or decoupled, pure headless or hybrid architectures. Any flavor you want, we basically got it. So our goal was to create the best CMS for marketers, but also have the flexibility and the power that developers are looking for. So why don't we run through some of the features? So I'll go through some of the benefits that I'm particularly excited by. Number one, we talked about this visual builder. It's a next-gen product, side-by-side, cutting-edge editing. You can create, edit, publish directly from the visual builder. It doesn't require any extensive technical knowledge. We've heard from partners that this is one of the best visual builders, if not the best visual builders out there. Number two, what good is a visual builder without previews? We have interactive previews, so you can test forms, buttons, other interactive elements before publishing in preview mode. You can interact with these elements just as your visitors would on a live website. So number three is collaboration. Real-time collaboration between all the different personas who may be engaged, whether it's content creators, editors, stakeholders in the process. We just want to ensure smooth and efficient workflow, that entire content supply chain from ideation to publication. So then you have great content, you got to get it out in the world. So let's talk about multi-channel delivery. So our headless architecture, it allows marketers to easily deliver content across almost any channel. Your website, mobile apps, social media, digital screens, even if your refrigerator if you need to. And we can create a super consistent brand experience. And now while we talk about omni-channel and how we're flexible across all channels, let's not forget, we've been doing this for so long, we have so much expertise that there's a lot of web native concepts that are pre-built, even if you use us headlessly into the product, and that's just going to help developers get started fast. So how do we get content out headlessly? Well, you need Optimizely Graph. A lot of you may know about Graph. We launched it last year, but we're making it even better. As a reminder, Graph leverages GraphQL. It's a super powerful query language for APIs, and we provide a streamlined way to access content. So you can easily retrieve the exact content you need and deliver it across any channel. I talked about scalability and flexibility. So as a SaaS platform, Optimizely can easily scale to accommodate kind of your growing content needs, also your evolving marketing strategies. We just want to make sure the CMS can adapt to the changing needs of almost any business. So the next point is automatic updates and maintenance. The beauty of SaaS, you don't need to worry about software updates or maintenance, as the platform is automatically updated with the latest and greatest features and security patches. The cool thing here is, like, it's not just the latest innovation that you get, but you can save so much time, and it's so much less painful having these automated updates. Finally, faster time to market. So our templated and super intuitive visual builder, I'm hyping up visual builder a lot because it really is awesome. It allows marketers to quickly create and publish content, republish content, reuse content. So there's a lot of acceleration in terms of the time to market to get campaigns and content out the door. So I'm going to wrap by just talking about how this fits into our wider CMS strategy and like our commitment, especially also to our existing customers. So our entire strategy for CMS is to offer both flexibility and composability. And that flexibility matters because for our existing customers in PaaS, and I know there's a lot of you watching this, we're going to continue to invest in PaaS. We're going to continue to invest in innovation for all of you guys. But for new customers, you have a choice between any of those architectures. And when it comes to composability, one more point that you and I, Naz, we talk about all the time is, yes, we offer composability. If, as a customer, you want to stitch together best-of-breed products and you have the engineering resources to do that, you can absolutely do that. But here at Optimizely, we also have category-leading products, number one products in almost every category that's already pre-integrated, available out of the box. It's already the defaults are elegantly selected for you. It's just so much easier to get started. So you can choose and mix and match however you want. But no matter who you are, remember, our focus is to help you build the best damn website using the best damn CMS. It's beautiful for marketers. It's modern. It's flexible for developers. And I think you can see that I'm super excited. I want to bring all of this to life. And, I'm trusting you with this, Naz. So absolutely no pressure. Over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chef. It's going to be definitely difficult to follow, but let's get started. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. I hope that at the end of this webinar, you're going to be just as excited about SaaS CMS as I am. My name is Naz. I'm the Senior Director of Product here at Optimizely, and we launched SaaS CMS. It's officially available in GA, and in this session today, I'm going to be giving you guys all a demo. I do want to double click on a few points that Shaf made before we get into the demo, but first of all, SaaS CMS, we keep talking about it because that's the product that we are launching. It's a major milestone for us as a company. That doesn't mean that we are leaving PaaS behind or anything like that. So for us as Optimizely, we have one content management system, and when we set out on this journey, our intention was very clear that we want to give the flexibility to developers, to companies based on their needs on choosing the architecture of going towards SaaS or going towards a PaaS model and having that flexibility and choice for the customers. At the same time, we wanted to improve, we wanted to innovate on the marketer experience, on the end user experience on the other side. We will be very soon announcing the next version of our PaaS product as well, which will include Visual Builder. You already have access to Graph. So the idea is that the two products will kind of come a lot closer and have a lot of parity with each other while maintaining that separation, because there will always be a right choice for you based on your team structure, based on your setup, based on where your investments are, and based on the needs that you have on your digital experience, on if SaaS is the right choice for you or the PaaS is the right choice for you. So flexibility of choice on that side, where we improve the marketer experience on the front end. The second point that I wanted to make is composability. So we're a composable stack on both the PaaS product and the SaaS product. On SaaS, which is what we're talking about today, it is headless first, and it's a fully composable CMS. So you can choose to, for example, host your front end if you use React, Next.js, or if you want to have a head and you want to host it on Vercel, Netlify, or if you want to do your own hosting, you have all of those options. It's completely headless, it's completely composable, and it's up to you to decide where you want these elements to live and what languages you have the team members, you have the developers to use. So you have that code agnostic functionality in the SaaS product. But at the same time, I want to call out that while we are a composable product, because we understand that you want to integrate your CMS to a different commerce product or a different DAM solution, we also don't force you into composability. We are, at the end of the day, Optimizely is the marketing operating system for marketers. And we have the best-in-breed content marketing platform. We have the best-in-breed experimentation solution. But not even that, within the CMS itself, we have search via Content Graph. We have the Visual Builder. All of these elements come out of the box for you. So when you're buying CMS from us, you're getting getting Visual Builder and you're getting Graph out of the box, and you don't have to compose every single bit that you want your CMS to do for your website. The last point, and I'll get into the demo, is omnichannel is extremely important. As marketing is growing, more and more of our customers have mobile apps, and they're considering newer channels like IoT devices, for example. So it's very important for us to support omnichannel. However, I want to make a point about the fact that realistically, a lot of your traffic, if not majority of your traffic, is on the website, majority of the time on mobile or desktop or iPad, but it is your digital brand presence, which is a website. And therefore, we pride ourselves in the fact that our Visual Builder is completely channel agnostic, so you can build your mobile app and IoT devices or digital banners or your refrigerator, like Shaf mentioned, within the CMS itself. However, we have gone the extra mile for the website, creating those workflows, creating those functionalities that are very web-centric to make it much easier for your teams to create full journeys on the website without having to pay a price because you want it to be completely channel agnostic. I'll cover that a bit in the demo, but I just wanted to make a point about that. Okay, with that, I'm going to switch over into the CMS. So here is the homepage of a demo site that I have. This is Mosey Bank. This is a website that we've built on SaaS CMS. We've chosen to host this in Vercel. So the front end of this is hosted in Vercel. I'm leveraging GraphQL, our Optimizely graph, to send content back and forth. And you can see that we have dark mode, light mode. I can preview this and see exactly what this page looks like live. So it's a pretty good looking site. All of this was built within the Visual Builder itself. So the first thing that I want to touch on this view is that on the left side over here, you have the outline. This is where you build your layout. This is where you build your content. This is your editor window on the left side. And on the right side, you have the preview immediately available to you. So as you make edits on the left side, you can see the changes reflected on the right. You can adjust to different screen sizes. Like I mentioned, this is hosted in Vercel. So we're using GraphQL to actually make a full round trip back and forth into Vercel and then back into the CMS to reflect the changes that we're making. Optimizely Graph comes very tightly integrated and coupled with our SaaS CMS. We not only use that for search, you can still bring your own search, but Graph gives you AI-powered semantic search. But it is also always an accurate representation of your website that you can query. So GraphQL gives you the ability to see all of your content as graph and be able to see how much content you're bringing, external content that you're bringing, how many queries you're running, what content is getting queried the most. So it gives you a lot of power by making your content into queries. The other thing that I want to call out on this homepage is that, as I mentioned, we try to create web-centric experiences. So this example specifically, this is a website for our company called Mosey Bank. So this has been set up by my team as a website. I have a page tree. I have the taxonomy of my entire website over here for me to navigate. I can see subpages and subpages underneath that within folders. So it makes it very easy for me as the editor, as I'm making changes on a given landing page, to know exactly where in the journey this page falls. It makes it very easy for me to go back into older, previously published, now unpublished pages. It makes it easier for me to be able to search older landing pages, for example, last year's Black Friday campaign, if I wanted to go take a look at it. It just gives me that capability to filter through pages for a web-centric experience much easier. Now let's get into the editor a little bit. So on the left side, here is what we call a section. So if you look at a horizontal cut of your experience, whether it's a website or an app, any horizontal cut is called a section. Now, a section can have only one element. It can be just one sentence, or it can have multiple elements. Within Visual Builder, we allow you to create nested content, which makes editing so much more easy because realistically, for example, this is a hero section. This has multiple elements in it, but I'm going to be able to use this on a variety of different pages as I build content, rather than having to recreate a hero section by having to add a headline, a paragraph, a CTA, and an image every single time that I want to recreate this. We have another section called tagline. You can see product highlights. This is a good example because you can see that there's multiple sections within this area. This is a nested content with multiple blocks, because every time that we want to reuse this, we want to talk about our savings accounts, our checking accounts, and our credit cards all within the same breath. The other thing that you're noticing right now as I'm scrolling around is how it automatically scrolls for me. So all of the elements on the Visual Builder are interactable. So I can hover over whether an entire section, which will take me to the section by itself. So if I click on this, I'm on the tagline section now, or I can interact with the elements themselves. So I can hover over a given image, for example, and I'm immediately taken to that image on the left side, or a button, for example. I can see it open an account in seconds. So let's go ahead and play around with the Visual Builder a little bit. So I'm going to make some edits to this section. This looks pretty good. First of all, it's called Mosey App. I don't know why someone called this an app. Let's just call this Mosey App Anywhere Block. Okay, section. So this is my section. I can rename it. I can see all the elements that are inside of it very easily from here. As you can see, the way that we run the editor is in a grid format. So the way that you lay out your pages is done within a layout. So there's rows and there's columns. Within each section, you can have as many rows and as many columns as you need. So in this example, for example, this is the Mosey Anywhere section. I'm going to open this up. It's all one row. I can see that there is one column and two columns. So you can see this is one column and this is another column. If I go in to add a row, for example, I can add a row underneath, or I can add columns within the row, which would add a third column over here. That would change everything over there. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. Let's say I want to add an element within this. Let's say I want to add a CTA button underneath this text. So first, I'm going to navigate myself. I'm going to click on my text and see exactly where I am over here. So delete all your banking. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a element underneath this column. So I'm going to add a call to action. All of these elements, by the way, this drop-down list, these are elements that have been configured for me by my admin, by my front-end developer, by whoever has access to admin rights within the CMS. I'll switch over to the admin setting and show you how you create new elements as well. I'm going to go ahead and add a call to action. Let's take a look. Here we go. So I can select my link. Let's say I want to link this to a page that exists already on the website. The homepage sounds good. I can put the text, whatever text that I want, on the button as well. Call us today. And you can see that my button is getting updated in real time, and that's what my button looks like. So it's very easy to drag and drop. I can bring my, for example, button up and push it underneath now it's all the way at the top. I can bring it back down and put it on the bottom as well. So it gives you drag and drop functionality. It makes it very easy for you to navigate through the editing experience. Move the paragraph up above the button. Okay. I'm going to switch over to the settings view and just talk about content types a little bit. So this is, again, a differentiator for us. You do have the capability of bringing in new content types via APIs, but you also have the capability of creating new content types directly within the UI over here. So if anyone has access to you can have complete custom functionality around permissions. The way that this setup is done, for example, is that we have groups for admins, editors, content viewers only. So you can create groups, or you can go down to the user level and say Nas can access this page and nobody else, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how we can create new content types. You can create a page type. You can create reusable blocks that have no URL. This is for the true headless implementation where you're building an app or an IoT and you're not web-centric and you want to create just blocks of structured content. media types. So if you have images, assets, you can identify any of those content types. Let's say I want to create a new element, right? So I just added a call to action. That was an element. If I wanted to add a new element, I could just create it from here. I could call it, let's say I want to create a speaker profile type of section that can be reused. Let's call it speaker. And once I create this, I can go in here and actually add the properties that I want for this specific content type to show up. So if you remember, when I added the call to action, there's two properties underneath here. So there's a link and there's a text. So this tells me what the words on the button look like and where it's linking to. And both of those show up as here because they were configured during this page. So I can select, for example, text. I can select URL. I can select date and time, content, whatever those criteria might be. Let's take a look at an existing one. For example, the call to action is the one that we just added. You can see there's a property for link, there's a property for text. You can also see additional details, and you can set permissions down at the element level. Again, we want to create the flexibility for you to have the exact rights and permissions at all the levels that you need to, based on your use case, based on your team setup. So over here, I could, for example, say that only specific group types can use this content type, or specific users can use this content type as well. Going back to my editor. So let's say I made this edit. This looks pretty good to me, but now I want to change how it looks. So far we've seen the layout and we've seen the content, but we haven't made any changes as far as design choices go. That's where the style option comes into play. So over here on the call to action element, I can just click this and go into style. And you can see these are all of my styling options that have been made available to me by my front-end developer. So when the site has been created, when the experience layer was designed, and each of these elements were created, I have been given, as the marketer, multiple options for this button. One thing that I want to call out, again, if you compare us to some of the competitors that are out there, instead of me having 17 different call to action element types, that one is pink, and I have to sort through, and I need to remember the names, and I need to figure out which button is the right button for each page and experience that I'm creating. Instead, I only have one content type. So I only added a call to action button. As an editor, when I wanted a button, I added a button. And then I click into the button to change the styling. So I can use light mode, for example. I can make the button a secondary or a primary button so you can see the color change. If I wanted this to be a secondary button, I can change that, and I can make it dark, for example. So these are all the options that I've been given as far as the different ways that my button can look. I can even align it to the center, for example. This is all up to your front-end developer. You can code, you can give as many options or as little as options as you want to your end users. As far as style goes, again, this is a bit of a differentiator, so I want to talk about it a little bit more. I can also set styles to entire section level. So for example, this section, I can go into the style option, and you can see that I can change the vertical spacing. I can make this small. I can make this full width. I can make it wide or narrow. So I'm giving those style options at different altitudes, at the element level, or at the entire section level as well. One other thing that I want to talk about here. So let's say over here I looked, this looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go at the row level and say, okay, this card looks kind of good for the purposes of this page, right? Like it's talking about the new app that's available. It says call us today. This block looks pretty good. But now as an editor, I'm thinking, oh, I also have to create that separate landing page for our new saving accounts. And I need to have a webinar call out for the saving accounts that has a picture of a person and the content of that webinar that they're doing. This section specifically, the format of it, the curved edges, the image, the way that the content flows, flows looks pretty good to me. I can reuse this. I don't want to start from scratch. So first of all, I'm going to go into style and I'm going to see, okay, what are my options with this? I can display this as a card, as a carousel, as default. Let me see, can I change the colors? Yes, I can. So these are the background colors that have been available to me. I can change this to dark blue. And this looks pretty solid to me now to take it over and use it for a different page. So what I can do at this point, now that I've made the changes that I want to my block and I want to reuse it, I can actually go ahead and save this as a blueprint. So what we call blueprints can be, it's for content reuse. We want to make it as simple as possible for your marketers to be able to reuse the content that they're creating so that it cuts down on time that they're spending on building content on the pages. So often we hear from marketers that have to do such menial tasks like updating one paragraph on 17 pages because there's a new product coming out, or updating a great example. I was talking to our product marketer today here. We have Opticon coming up. There is about 70 breakout sessions. There's a page dedicated to every single breakout session. Each of those contents, they all look the same, but the paragraph needs to be updated. The image of the speaker needs to be updated. That's a good use case to call out. That's why we brought blueprints. With blueprints, you can save, again, at different altitudes. So I can save an entire experience, an entire web page as a blueprint. So let's say a product detail page. Let's say a landing page for blog posts, for example. Those types of pages that you reuse on an ongoing basis, you can save those as a blueprint. Or is what I'm doing over here, which is I'm saving that section as a blueprint so I can use it somewhere else. So I'm going to give this any name that I want. Here we go. You can see, of course, with live demos, something always never works, but you'll see a thumbnail of the section that you're saving, and I can save this as a blueprint, and my blueprint is now saved. So if I go back on my page tree, and let's say I want to create a blank new page, I want to create an experience, we're going to call this the demo site that we're building. I'm going to start from a blank experience because it's a new page that I'm building. You'll see again, like this is an article blueprint, which is an entire page level blueprint that has been saved. I could use that to start so that I don't have the blank page problem. But I'm going to start from blank experience. And here you can see that I just have the header and the footer, and everything in the middle is up to me to add. So when I go to add a section, I can actually see the blueprints that I've saved previously. And you can see this is the webinar demo that we just saved, and I can add it over here. And that entire section exists for me, and I can now just change the content. I'll also show you that in the admin portal under blueprints over here, you can actually see all the blueprints that have been saved. You can see the different types of blueprints, whether it's an entire section or experience, and filter between the two of them as well. So you can edit, rename, delete, and manage your blueprints all within here. The last thing I'll talk about is on the admin portal. So we talked about omni-channel. So this is your application management page. As you can see, we have one test one, but we have one website set up underneath this here. But I can go ahead and actually set up additional applications as I wish. So if I wanted to add a new app, if I wanted to add a new website and add a new URL, I could do that all within the UI without needing to call a developer. If I go over here, for example, you can also see that the host names are managed within the UI as well. So this is, for example, routed to a Vercel URL, Vercel host name. I could use Netlify. I could use whatever that I wish. The other piece that I just want to show quickly is the languages. So we do support multiple languages. Again, you can very easily come over here and add additional languages as you wish. I believe we have over 750 different languages because there's a lot of variations. You can add the language directly, and you can make specific languages available in your Visual Builder UI so that your editor can create content for those different languages. Just to show you what that looks like, if I go into a section, I can simply change that over to Swedish, and I can edit the content directly from that. Last I said last thing the last time, but this is the last piece. I wanted to show you the scheduled jobs. If you're existing customers with us on PaaS, a lot of this should feel familiar, and that has been by design. We didn't want there to be a net new product that you need to learn. So a lot of this should feel familiar with just enhanced capabilities. Scheduled job is a good example of that. So you can see that this is where you will see all of the scheduled jobs that you have running for your program. You'll see that graph always shows up. Also, if I go to publish any page on the website, you can see the synchronize with graph. As I mentioned, graph comes integrated with your site so that all of your content is available via graph. And it is flowing back and forth between your front and your back end very seamlessly. And last thing is that because we do have SaaS CMS available on OptiID, you can switch between your Optimizely graph and your CMS instance very easily. So I can quickly run into graph and see query data or see any data that is available within my CMS. Okay, with that brings us to the end of the demo. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you learned more about the SaaS product and you're as excited as we are. This recording will be available on demand, so you can check it out at any time or share it along as well. If you're interested to see a demo or learn more about the SaaS product, please let us know in the comments or find us on the